get
We
on
were
to
talking
this?
about. I'm trying to get you to talk about to tell us a bit about no
Oh,
mind and
that's it.
positive
Yeah,
thought.
right, okay.
So you're driving along in Cyprus.
Driving along in Cyprus. Yeah, good point. Oh, we went off on a little tangent there, didn't we? Driving along in Cyprus, and on the way back from the school, I'm trying to hold this trying, using the wrong word there.
Yeah.
Trying to hold this 15 seconds of positive thought. Now, the 15 seconds of positive thought is stage one,
Mhm.
right? And what it is a case of just for 15 seconds, control your mind so that you only allow positive information in.
Mhm.
You don't allow any negative thoughts. Oh, I've got to pay that bill. Or what if I don't get money? Or what if my car breaks down? Whatever it is, no negativity is allowed. This isn't about positive thinking, right?
So it's not about just filling your head with lovely thoughts.
No, this is.
It's about not letting.
Well,
It's controlling
It's
and
controlling
holding a
what
positive thought.
what you allow into your mind. Yeah. So it's silencing all of the stuff that's
All
going
the
on without your control.
Yeah.
Right. So I chose one positive thought, and my positive thought was my little boy. I took him when I was a private pilot years ago. Well, I still am, but I just don't have the current license for it. And my thought was him when I took him in the aeroplane, and he was sitting back, and he had the headphones on. And I still got pictures, in my mind. I could see it clearly, and him sitting on the back seat of the aeroplane. It was that positive thought. I was driving back, and I couldn't hold this thought for more than 4 or 5 seconds, and it was doing my head in. It was like, no.
So
no.
all the bad stuff kept
All the
crowding
bad stuff
in,
kept
yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
Obviously I was at this time about 3 months away from going bankrupt and that sort of thing. So all the bad stuff's coming in. I knew the inevitable was happening at that stage, and it was like, no. And I got to a point about 15 minutes into the journey. I went, no, that's it. I pulled over to the side of the road. So I'm not leaving this spot. I don't care if I'm here all day. I'm not leaving this spot until I've controlled my mind for 15 seconds. And it took me, I don't know, 7 or 8, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. But I did it, And on the way home, I did it again. Every other minute or so, I do it again.
Just testing that you could still do it.
I could do it, and I could do it. And it became easier and easier. Throughout the day, I was testing it all the time. As soon as a negative thought came up, I just switched that negative thought off, and I would hold 15 seconds of positive thought. And it wasn't about positive thinking. Positive thinking is a very dangerous thing. That's for another time.
Just delusional.
Yeah, exactly. This was just a positive thought.
So you were actually this is quite important as well. So you were actually picturing something that you could see and feel really clearly that had actually happened to you.
I mean, that's slightly moving on to the next stage. Yeah, okay. I could just obviously time travel is not possible, but time travel in the mind is possible. So you can go to the future and you can experience your future. You can go to your past. We've all got moments in the past. We can go back to a time in a pub or a party we were at or a holiday. We're just back there in a second, aren't we?
Yeah.
And so it's time travel. It's not Doctor Who stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's so we can experience it. So the mind is incredibly powerful. So what I was doing was I was holding this 15 seconds, and then what I was going to do was this makes me feel good, and it was like the whole day everything just got easier and lighter and so much more rewarding.
It must have been such a relief because you must have been feeling bad for a while, and then suddenly learning how to do this.
And it was a combination of several techniques I read in books and techniques from the past of how I did it for myself in the past. I didn't really have to do this. It was sort of like an instinct before, but this time I was manually creating
doing it on purpose.
And then I was well, if it feels this good, I need to increase the time. Right? So I thought, okay, well, let's increase it to 10, 15 minutes. And so I thought, I couldn't hold this thought for more than 3 or 4 minutes. And what I did was I started to go deeper into the thoughts. So I'd think about the smell of the aeroplane, the smell of the grass, the smell of the sea breeze. I'd think about the radio communication I was having with the tower. I'd think about the noise of the engine. I'd really go back and experience the whole thing because it was all wrapped around one wonderful image. And so it was a case of it was just a happy moment. But I couldn't do it for more than 3 or 4 minutes. So what I did was I thought, this is really irritating. Okay, how do I do it? And I thought, well, let's take this to the next level, which is 10 to 15 minutes. How do I do that? Well, let's come up with other happy thoughts. And I just literally sat there and wrote down in 20 minutes 79.
79, that's very specific.
Well, just so happens I remembered it for some reason. You know what I'm like with numbers. So I wrote down these 79 happy thoughts. And so what happened was I'd sit there in my and I'd read them to myself, and it'd be impossible to not feel wonderful no matter what was going on in the world, because you're thinking about the most wonderful experiences in your life. And they can be anything. It doesn't have to be something like, aeroplane and, fantastic things like that, or Ferraris or Lamborghinis or anything like that. It could be something really small, like a great time you had in the pub with a friend, a great laugh you had. It can be
the times we used to have at the Property Investor Show.
Some of the best, weren't they? And so it doesn't have to be anything fantastic. And because I've had people say to me, "I can't think of anything positive in my life."
God, that's a bit tragic, isn't it?
I have that all the time.
Really?
It's a case of probably one of the most common questions I get is, "I can't think of anything positive in my life." And
that is so sad.
But that's because they're not,
they're not allowing themselves. And nobody can go through life without having good moments.
Exactly, they're everywhere. And so it's just when you start to look at them, you think they can only be little things. And because it's with the little things that you grow, it's a case of you just find something you've laughed at, something you've enjoyed.
I remember driving through Hyde Park when I lived in London, and it was September, and it was just the sun came out, and the Hyde Park was beautiful, and I remember that, and I just had this flash of happiness, and I thought, I sometimes get it driving it across country here, and it's just little things like that. You've got to experience those things, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm going
to have to write my list now.
Right. Well, I did this, and of course, I just go from one thing to another, and then it was just 15 minutes was nothing.
Really? Well, that's fantastic.
And what I didn't realise was